again to Fruitful Investment Strategies. My name is Kalambai and I'm a real estate investor. And please, we are very thankful for the many subscribers that we have got in the last. And we really appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you very much that you keep actually sharing the videos that we have and you keep sharing the information that we give. And we are here to help you actually invest and to talk to you about daily, issues that happen all around the world that's really affecting us in businesses and all across the world. So please, if you have not yet subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe, you share this video, because in these videos we share really the most valuable information that will help you globally, and we keep taking lessons from each and everything that happens. So before I enter into the Baltasar case, we are really happy to see that Donald Trump has actually won this election with a big majority. We say that is stand up, that is good for business. So hopefully we are just waiting impatiently to see how this will impact our businesses as we go around. And we hope that the interest rates will continue actually lowering themselves. We have seen across Europe, across America, that the interest rates are going down. So hopefully that will be really a good news for us, and we can actually have the interest rate even lower than 1 point something percent, which we are actually looking forward to see, and that will actually open a lot of businesses, and make them really profitable. But anyway, I want to talk about Baltasar and bring my analysis about it and what kind of lesson we can actually take out from life from that case. Now, Baltasar was really an investigation agent, but this was the head of office in Equatorial Guinea, and so he is actually the nephew of the president of Equatorial Guinea, and this guy has been really ransacking women, of top officials all across Guinea, not only Guinea, but all across the continent of Africa. So you guys have heard the 300, 400 tapes which have been leaked. We are talking about 300 women who have been actually leaked in those videos, which is really, well, I don't know if I should say sad, but it's really not moral. So Baltasar has been really, everybody's running from Baltasar if they hear that Baltasar is coming to their country. But let's set that aside. Now, so we have actually 1,200 videos which are there. The government or the investigation officials have just leaked 400 videos, and these 400 videos we're talking about 300 women, some of them pregnant, some of them wives to his brother, and that's really a case that actually makes the thing very, very vulnerable, because how can a man reach at the point of actually even taking his brother's wife and having children by her? So I guess everything is possible in the evil world, but that's why I want to actually bring the 48 laws of power, and to understand how did he come to actually have so much power that he could actually even take the generals, and we're talking about his brother's wife and top officials, minister's wife. How did actually Baltasar manage to take those wives, film them, have the videos recorded, and put somewhere as a proof? What was he actually willing to do with those proof? Because we don't have just to see what actually the videos have actually been that he was filming, but I think he had a purpose. And the reason that he was filming, he had a purpose. But what was that purpose? Why was he doing it so? Why was that actually being done? Why was Baltasar keeping proof? Because as a normal man, as somebody who is actually very smart. They want to kill the proof in terms of when something happened later, they can actually present the proof to actually the people or somebody who can actually, give them the reason for that. And here I think there's laws that he has actually used and there are laws that he has broken. So the 48 laws of power, which I've explained in some of my videos below, I'll put it below as well, so that if you have actually time, please go through these 48 laws of power. So he broke some of the laws and he used some of the laws to his own advantage. So that's where we are coming with Baltasar. And I think, except from him being very evil, he's also been using that evil mind to outsmart other guys, but in an evil way. And anyway, that's the world of politics. We're talking about power, control, and money. So he was the head of the investigation bureau, and he was actually the head of investigating others if they were corrupt, while he himself was actually a corrupt guy. So the investigator was being investigated, and when the investigator was being investigated, now they find out that this guy, wow, he has, women of top officials, he has women of generals, ministers, and all that, and even his own brother, even the president's own sister. And we're talking about the president is actually 82 years old. So this guy has been ransacking all over. So I'll just take some of the 3 laws, or let's say 4 laws, 2 of which he has used to his own advantage, and 2 of which he has used on, he has broken, which has been used to his own disadvantage. So this guy has been really going up there and studying how he can actually have control, because power is all about control. And what do you control? You control your enemy, you control the entrances, you control the outrance, you control everything about the enemy. You have to know everything about the enemy so that you can use against the enemy. So I think he was actually taking those steps and say, hey, threatening those officials that were actually corrupt, because everybody in Guinea is corrupt. So he could threaten them with that corruption because they maybe have stolen money that was going to be used in the military or in other offices and stuff like that. That money which was going to be used, those people were actually using it for their own gain. So this guy was actually in charge of controlling that. And so that the reason is, when he actually gets all the information from them and he has all the proof to actually put them in prison, he says, hey, okay, I'm not gonna send you to prison. I'm not gonna send you to the police, the officials. I'm not gonna make this known. But one thing I want you to do is actually to send your wife to me so that I can do with her whatever I want and you will be free. So I think that's what he was doing. All these people wanted money, all these people wanted fame, all these people wanted positions. And what they were doing, they were threatened by Baltasar and Engonga, to actually go into this liaison with him. And he had their wives coming over and they could just freely accept, because they knew what they were going through. They knew what their husband were going to face. And once they knew that what their husband were going to face, so they were used to save their husbands. At least that my take on some of them. So, and I can see that there was no one complaining. Why there was no one complaining? Because this is an involvement of power. This is an involvement of actually of control. And if they wanted to keep their position, of course they had to give up something, and that something had to be, their women, because Baltasar, that's what he wanted. So because Baltasar wanted that, they had to give up that. And we're going to see these laws, how they were being applied. I think one of the laws that Baltasar used to his advantage is law number 15. Law number 15. It says, crush your enemy totally. You have to crush your enemy totally. So Baltasar knew that these people actually were in some sense his enemies, because there was some struggle of power. The president is actually 82 years old. So the president has to give power. He has to go off power. And Baltasar wants to have that power. What does he do? He crushes every competitor. He's crushing every competitor from having power. And what does he do? He exposes them. He can expose them to the media. He can expose them to everywhere he wants because he has control over their wives. He has control over their families. He has control. You know, when you are actually crushing a woman, you're crushing the entire family. And that's what Baltasar did. He knew what he was doing, and he was crushing his enemy totally, not leaving them even one place to defend themselves. He was crushing them, because once you actually have killed the woman, you have killed the entire community, because who raises the community? It's the women. So once you have really destroyed that womanhood, you have destroyed the family, you have destroyed the entire generation. So he knew what he was doing well. He had to go and crush the enemy. And what does this law say? He says, all great leaders since Moses have known that a feared enemy must be crushed completely. Sometimes they have learned this the hard way. If one ember is left alight, no matter how dimly it smolders, a fire will eventually break out. More is lost through stopping halfway than through totally annihilation. The enemy will recover and will seek revenge, crush him not only in body but in spirit. So this law is actually very clear that this guy was actually crushing his enemy, his competitors, looking that they do not stand spiritually, morally. You know, they cannot stand. He knew that he could not have that post, maybe to go to the president's stand, but he knew that he had to have a better post than all of those people. And then he had to do what? To crush them completely, to have control over them, because once he has control over them, he has control over the country. He was the one who was actually controlling the entire country, because he was having liability over all of them. So this guy was actually powerful. He's not a stupid guy. Baltasar is a smart guy, but in an evil way. He's very, very sluggish. And he has a lot of control. He had a lot of control. And that's why, you know, he was actually using this to crush all his enemies. And he did really smartly. He outsmarted all the other guys. He crushed them. You know, he crushed really those people. And one of the laws that he was actually using is keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of predictability. So this is law number 17. You know, this is the law number 17. You know, it says, keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. So humans are creatures of habit, with an insatiable need to see familiarity in other people's actions. Your predictability gives them a sense of control. Turn the tables. Be deliberately unpredictable. Behavior that seems to have no consistency or purpose will keep them off balance, and they will wear themselves out trying to explain your moves. Taken to an extreme, this strategy can intimidate and terrorize. And that's what he was doing. He was actually terrorizing those people. Hey, I have a video of your wife, so if you don't do what I request you to do, well, I'm going to leak it. Well, I'm going to do something to it. You know, he has control over, not only over those people, he have control over the entire family, over the entire move. Because once you're controlling the woman, you're controlling the whole house. You're controlling the whole house. You control a married woman, you're controlling her house. So that's what he was doing. He was keeping others in suspended terror. So the husband who had big positions, they were kept in suspended terror. They could not say anything. They could not pronounce anything because their wives were controlling them. Their wives were saying something and they had to shut up because dignity has been lost. And these men had to listen to their wives They had to listen to what Baltasar had to say, because Baltasar was the one actually holding the string, was the one actually controlling everything. So we see those are the kind of the laws that Baltasar used to actually control those people. But that being said, Baltasar has also broken some laws, which has cost him his entire career. So the thing is, when you are using those kind of things, these laws to break others, know that if you do one mistake, it will cost you your life. Because one mistake will kill you. Politically, morally, it will kill you. One mistake only. And that's what Baltasar did. One of the laws that he actually broke was law number 10. The law number 10, what does it say? The law number 10, it says, infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This guy did not avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. There were people who were not happy with what he was doing. He did not avoid them. You know, he was trying to actually intimidate the unlucky and the people who did not have anything to lose. And what did they happen? They went after him. They went after him. He says, you can die from someone else's misery, emotional, deaths are as infection as disease. You may feel you are helping or drawing man, but you are only participating in your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune of themselves. They will also draw it on you. Associate with them happy and fortunate instead. So this guy, he drew some people who were unhappy about his position, about his power, about his legacy, about what he was doing. And because he faced the unhappy, these guys destroyed him. This law destroyed him. So they published it. You know, he wanted to actually crush. He came across some unhappy people and they crushed him. He says, and the other law that he broke, the last law he broke is law number 19. Know who you are dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. So this guy offended the wrong person, because this was the president who actually ordered the investigation. So he might have offended the president's family. Yes, the auntie. You have also, you know, other family members. He offended the wrong guy. He didn't know who he was dealing with. So this guy brought an investigation on himself. Baltasar brought an investigation on himself, and which cost him really a lot. And this law says there are many different kinds of people in the world, and you can never assume that everyone will react to your strategies in the same way. Deceive or outmaneuver some people, and they will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. So he broke this law. There were some people who were actually seeking revenge all their lives. And he's really lucky that he's in prison, because some people would have killed him. And people are just looking to actually kill them because he have destroyed so many families. And he says that there are wolves in the lamb's clothing. Choose your victims and opponents carefully, then never offend or deceive the wrong person. So he offended the wrong person. He came across the wrong people. He did not know all his enemies. He did not know what would be the reaction of others. And that has cost him very, very big. So if you've liked this video, please make sure that you subscribe, you like, you share, and keep commenting. Tell us what you think. See you on the next one. This is the 48 Laws of Power.